What's up everyone, I'm Steve and welcome to another video in the Foundations of Money series. In this video we're going to talk about debt relief, and this is a big one. You ready? Let's go. There is a big problem in this country. 80% of Americans have debt, including mortgages and unpaid credit cards and car loans. And debts prevent us from building wealth because we owe too much money to other people. The total consumer debt is over $14 trillion. That's trillion with a T, which is an incredible amount of money. Almost 40% of homes carry a month-to-month balance on their credit cards. And this is called revolving debt or revolving credit, and it's pricey because of interest rates associated with credit cards. And the average interest rate on a new credit card is over 18%. And that is a heck of a lot of interest to pay by running a balance on your credit card. The max debt to income ratio for borrowers to get a qualified mortgage is 43%. So the lower our debt, the better mortgages you're gonna get, the better interest rates you're gonna have when you do have to borrow money and take out money. So the ratio between how much money you bring in versus how much money is going out in debt, once that's below 43% or so, you maximize your interest rate with mortgages and some other loans. So the better handle we have on debt, the less money we're gonna pay in general. So how do we get out of debt? That's what this video is about, the foundations of debt relief. First, what exactly is debt relief? Debt relief is the process of paying off debt so we can begin to build wealth and a more prosperous future. The less money that we owe to other people means the more money we have to save and invest, and that improves our future. So there's a 3-step process to this. We'll talk about each one, starting with number 1. The first step to debt relief is stop going into debt. We're never going to be able to dig ourselves out of this hole if we keep going into debt while we're trying to get out of debt, and it'll turn into this revolving cycle of just of nothing but debt, of paying interest, always owing money to other people. The first step is to just stop it. Stop going into debt. Now, this might seem like a sacrifice because we may change our lifestyle a little bit, but once we prioritize debt relief, I think those decisions are going to get a little bit easier after that. And it really comes down to our lifestyle and how expensive that is. And that really leads into the second step in debt relief, which is reducing your expenses. I've talked about this in other videos, but the wealth building equation equals your income plus your investments minus your lifestyle. That is how much money you have. So when we can reduce our lifestyle, that takes care of one side of that equation. And when our lifestyle doesn't depend on all this money to fund, the cheaper our lifestyle is, the more minimal our lifestyle is, the more money that we're gonna have to pay our bills, to do some nice things. And the less expensive our lifestyle is, the less money that we're going to pay out, the less money that we're gonna have to earn, the less debt that we're probably going to take on. So maybe that new boat you wanted, or that new car, or the season tickets, maybe that's not the best expense right now when you're trying to get out of debt, because you just cannot get out of debt without changing your money habits. Without changing the habits that got you into debt, it's going to be nearly impossible to get out of it. So reduce your lifestyle as much as possible. Understand what means the most to you and your family. You do not have to live a life that feels like a sacrifice, because that's not going to be fun for anybody, but be honest with yourself. Go through your credit card and bank statements. Be honest with yourself about the money that you're spending and what really means the most to you. And step 3 is to get out of debt. Now, there's a couple of different ways to do this. There's 2 primary debt relief strategies, and they're called the debt snowball method and the debt avalanche method. So let's talk about the snowball method first. And with either method you choose, you're still making the minimum payments on all debts. So that is assumed. But now we're going to make additional payments to help pay down those debts faster. And using the debt snowball method, you prioritize debts based on size. So if you have 5 different debts, one of them is a $100 debt, the other one's a $1,000 debt, the other one has a $2,000 debt, so on and so forth, you will focus on that $100 debt first because it's the smallest debt and you'll probably be able to pay that off a little bit sooner, a little bit quicker, a little bit easier, and then you'll move on to that second highest debt. And the theory is when you do that, when you move along this process, your momentum snowballs. You gain confidence, you know what you're doing, and you just move forward like that. It gives you these wins along the way by focusing on the smaller debts first, and then you just build from there. The debt avalanche method reprioritizes your debts not based on the size of the debt, but based on the size of the interest rate. So if you have a number of different debts, one is a 15% interest rate, another one has a 10% interest rate, the other one has a 5% interest rate, you will pay off that 15% interest rate debt first because you're paying more on that debt. So when we pay off debts with the highest interest rate first, then we're paying less money on that debt. And then once that high interest rate debt is taken care of, we focus all that money and attention on the next highest interest rate debt, then the next, so on and so forth, until all of our debts are taken care of. Now, there's no right or wrong method to this. Whatever works for you works. Lots of people have had success on the debt snowball method. Lots of people have had success using the debt avalanche method, whatever makes the most sense. If you have a nice small debt out there that you might be able to get rid of next month, then that might be a good starting point for you to start building some momentum, and that would be the debt snowball method, so you focus on your smallest debt first. But regardless of what strategy you use, the first step here is to map out all your debts. Write them down, write down how much money you still have to pay, write down your interest rate on each debt, because there's no way we're going to be able to prioritize our debts if we don't know what those debts are. So write them down, make them noticeable, make sure you know where all of your money needs to go, and then you can make more intelligent decisions about prioritizing which debts you want to pay off first based on the size or the interest rate or any other factor. And I cannot stress this enough, stay out of debt while you're going through the debt relief process, but also after it, because we certainly don't want to repeat this process if we can help it. And as we go through this process, our money habits tend to change and we get a little bit more healthy with the money that we earn and spend. So it's probably going to be easier not to go into debt after, but that's such a critical component in debt relief. That's it for this video. Thank you for watching. I hope you learned something. Comment below if you have any questions or concerns. If you found some value in this video, share it, like it, subscribe if you're not already, and we will see you next time. No more debts. No more debts. No more debts. Peace.